Happy Wednesday, everybody. I hope that you are doing as well as you possibly can right at this time. I felt that it was important to do a reading on the current state of the United States, basically, of seeing what all we already know what is going on, but mostly to see where we're going to be going from here. Before I even put the cards down, this is just something that I automatically already know that needs to happen, is that the systemic racism must end in our society. I mean, there is just no other way for us to continue on, okay? We need to eradicate white supremacy. We need to get rid of the sexism. We need to get rid of the patriarchy. All of that just needs to be eradicated. And so that is without even looking at the cards, okay? This is looking at it from the perspective that all lives are important. Black lives matter. Trans lives matter. Women's rights over their own bodies matter. All of these things are interconnected, and we need to keep standing up for ourselves. Now, the bit of violence it's horrible that's going on right now, of whenever there are any protests, that does not mean that the protesters are actually doing the violence, and so that sometimes can be rather misleading. And we need to really stay focused on our higher goals that we want to have a place where everybody is accepted. Immigrants are equally welcomed. And so, we just need to get rid of the racism. We need to get rid of all of these different ideals that there's only one group of people that should be in charge of deciding about everybody else. And this also is sort of getting into a little bit. I actually went and I watched my New Year's reading that I did on New Year's Day. And no, I did not bring up COVID, because that was not in the cards necessarily. And what I've talked to other people about is that I kept seeing the crash, but I couldn't see the vehicle that was going to make the crash. I kept seeing financial ruin. I kept seeing these different things, but how the hows were sort of not quite there. But it's still interesting to see how a lot of the things in the other months actually have played out. Just they may have been overshadowed by a lot of the things going on with the pandemic. But even things like in May, concerning the female athletes, there actually were a lot of things that had transpired concerning the NCAA, concerning women's sports, and that I think was overshadowed. But another thing that came up in May concerning women's athletes is that they're concerned about women's athletics being cut in a lot of higher academia. So if you have not watched it, just go back through and watch it. And I was nervous concerning June, July, and August anyway. But especially after, how things have been unfolding, I'm not really sure what to think when we actually get to, obviously we're into June right now, July, and especially July and August. And just a quick little thing about my own business that, this is just something that everybody is honestly having to deal with. But, I'm going to have to make a decision by the end of this month of whether or not I'm going to be giving up my office space. And if I do that, then I will be cutting back a lot on the different things that I do, including these weekly videos and my newsletters and things like that, because I will be focusing my attention on other career choices. And so I'm just letting everybody know that, this is the final month that I'm going to have to make some decisions about that. Oh, and another thing, before I get the cards tossed out is that this Friday is the full moon and it's a lunar eclipse. A lot of the energy is already contentious in the way that the moon is opposite Mars, and if you receive my newsletters, you'll read more about that. But you can utilize the full moon energy to try and grow the things that you may need in your life now. It could also be the things that you're wanting to continue growing in our society now, growing of, interconnectedness, empowerment, things like that. That if you're really wanting to really start working on energy work, this Friday is absolutely a perfect time to be doing that. So I think that is all of the things I wanted to cover before I did the reading. So, all right, so I'm going to just do a reading, and I'm just focusing on the United States and, what it is that we should be keeping an eye on, expecting, things like that. All right, so the actions for what we are experiencing. So the cauldron, this is the Arthurian Tarot by John and Caitlin Matthews, and the cauldron, this in traditional decks, this is the Temperance card, but the cauldron, it's about how things are meshing together, and it is a balancing of some things, and even though it may not feel like there are balancing, the things that people standing up for other people and not accepting police brutality and speaking out, this is really stirring the pot, metaphorically and literally, of trying to bring out the energies that we are wanting in a new setting or in a new space and time that we're wanting. And the thoughts and feelings, the queen, the stone queen, it's interesting because this was actually in my New Year's reading as a woman that is very grounded, and I really feel that so she's very grounded, and so our thoughts and feelings are partly about needing that grounding. And sometimes in the daily draws, I'm constantly talking about, this is a day to really be grounded. This is a day to just make sure that you have your grounding stones, deep breaths, meditation, things like that. But I also feel that we're needing to look to new sources for a champion, if that makes sense. Because I think that in many ways our society is floundering because we don't have a specific person that is sort of like uniting people, because, our president is trying to disperse people, the exact opposite of unity, okay? And so we're wanting unity, we're wanting a champion or somebody that we can support, and I really feel that we're needing to look to a woman in particular, because it's time, for one thing, and that we also need to balance things out. So here we're having the cauldron again. It's about that balancing, and I think that we need to have strong female politicians and any other power figures. We really need to start having women in these positions, because right now it is very much a minority of old white dudes, making these decisions for everybody. And they're the ones that are, ultimately the looters in our society. We talk about, there is a little bit of looting here and there in the different rioting, that's not a good thing. But when you compare it to the $50 billion that the corporations got with the stimulus package, I think that that's a lot more looting, in my opinion, and it's just showing that there's a lot of issues that are going on right now. But I feel that we need to really look for a woman that is strong and is grounded. All the arguments for back when we were having elections in 2016 is, oh, we can't have a woman in, the presidency because they are, too emotional. And good Lord, the last 3 years we've had nothing but temper tantrums from this president, and he is the most unstable, emotional person. So I don't think it's necessarily a gender thing. I think that it is more of mental stability, as well as what ultimately their goals are and their intentions are. So those are the actions and thoughts and feelings. What we're not seeing. Interesting. So the Grail 6, this is what we're not seeing right now. And wow, this can carry a lot of meaning here. So the Grail 6 is about looking to the past. And this can be our past, but it can also be about history. It can be about looking at, it can be about past lives, but I mean, that gets really complicated when we're looking at an entire society. But, we had the civil rights movements back in the 60s. And I think looking at how that played a part in who we are now, and how are we back to where Nazis are okay, or that they are accepted, or whatever. I don't understand that. But it's also looking at our own histories, looking at our own memories. It's about nostalgia, and I think in some ways, we're not seeing all of the hard work and all of the blood, sweat, and tears, literal, from the civil rights movement. And I think that we need to look to history, one, so we don't repeat it, but also so that we can learn from it and grow from it. And it's also, this is our, current society as well as far past. What happened? How did things crumble? How did a certain society fall apart? What were the elements of that society as to why it collapsed? Okay, a lot of times people look to Rome. You can look at a whole bunch of different societies that had collapsed in some form or fashion, looking to see why. Why did they collapse? What happened? And, of course, being a medievalist, I'm always telling people that you need to study history more, because most people don't know anything about history, and it's very disturbing, quite honestly. Now, in the near future, we have Spear 2. So let me try and see what exactly this is. Is Spear 2, is this... is this concerning the United States? Yes, okay. Is this, let's see, we are in June now. Okay, is this in June? No. July. August. Okay. So August, for some reason, the Two of Spears represents planning for the future. It is all about, seeing what the different options are, and it's often a financial thing, which, we are having to deal with a lot of financial issues in our society right now. But I feel that there is going to be a compromise, or there's going to be something in August that's finally going to come through that may try to shift, the future, or just the finances and the plans for the future of our society. So that's a little hopeful for me, at least that there is that, that key element of trying to get some things figured out. Now, hopefully we can get things a little bit faster, but you know how things get pretty slow. And then we have, wow, okay, so let me see when this is. So this is August. September. Is this in October? So we have the Lady of the Lake. This is the High Priestess card in traditional decks. But this is all about female power. And it's about knowing how the planet and people and animals are all interconnected. The Lady of the Lake in the Arthurian legends, she was the holder of wisdom. And she, oftentimes she would be a mediator whenever Arthur was meeting with other kings or other leaders in some way. She would be there, just sort of like, because there was the Merlin and there was the Lady of the Lake, or the Morgaine, okay? And so this is really indicating to me that in October, and it's really interesting because I think October, oh no, that was September, okay. But that, in September, there's the Stone Queen, and it was all about this feminine energy that was going to, and is specifically political. But here, I feel that this is going to be more than just politics. I feel that this is going to be sort of an awakening of the feminine divine. And it's also just really interesting because of the card for the day was the Sword Queen. And I was just totally channeling. I couldn't type fast enough this morning with all of the information I was getting when I was downloading. It was about that the feminine divine was going to rise, that it was about, the Sword Queen, she stands up for those that cannot stand up for themselves. And so I really feel that there's going to be a lot of powerful, strong, intuitive women that are for the good of others, because I can't say that this is a man-woman thing. This is not a man-woman thing. This is a patriarchy thing, and there is an inverted patriarchy where there are women that actually support patriarchy, and we need to acknowledge that not all women are wanting equality for everybody, but this definitely feels like this is ancient energy coming up. This is ancient energy that is going to be surfacing. It's already, brewing. It's already with the cauldron. It's already brewing. It's already getting there. But something is really going to shift or surface, and it's going to be really positive. So, I'm really actually very happy about this reading because I was really nervous about doing this reading tonight. Wow. Holy cow. Okay, so the key card is the Spear Hallow. Okay. And I know that it is really difficult to see how anything positive can possibly come of all, we're dealing with a global pandemic. We are having financial ruin. We are having, and it's not that all of a sudden there is police brutality. It's just that people are, becoming more and more aware. The Spear Hallow represents a new beginning. It represents starting a new path. It represents, and it's a very positive card, but it's also of the fire. Okay, so as you can see, the spear, that's the fire, and we often have to go through the fire to get that sort of like the phoenix rising from the ashes. That we have to just don't doubt, don't back off, keep going with standing your ground and believing in what is right, rather than accepting what the minority 1% are, wanting us to believe. Okay, that we are on that edge. We're on that edge of shifting gears, and I am a little concerned, quite honestly, about November, about the elections, because I don't know, I've been having this really bad feeling, and I really hope that I'm wrong. I really do. But I've just been having this weird feeling that something is going to be used as a way to try and stay in office so that there isn't an election. I have that really bad feeling, and I'm hoping that I'm wrong. But I think that that's just something that we need to be aware of, that The people, especially those in the Senate that are supporting this madness that's going on right now in the White House, they are also needing to be held accountable for what all of the destruction that is going on and all of the hurt and the chaos. So this is not just one person. He represents a group of people, and we are going to get through this. We need to support each other. We need to keep going. And that was actually the from the New Year's reading. It was keep on going, don't give up. So it's just really interesting how that all just seems to keep coming through. And the other thing about that reading was that I just kept talking about the 2020 vision and how we really need to take, good God, watch what you ask for, but I kept saying we need to take the rose-colored glasses and the blinders off so that we can see exactly where we are and what we need to do. And I really feel that we are really doing that, as much as it's a very horrible, painful experience that we're going through. It is also, this is an awakening. This is an awakening that is vital to our, to the United States, to the American society. Okay. So honestly, I'm feeling a lot better. Like I said, I was really nervous about doing this reading because, I was like, I honestly don't know what's going to come up, and I'm a little nervous about doing this live, but I really feel that the most important thing is, what we're not seeing, that Grail 6, looking to history, looking to our own history, looking to our memories, and learning from them. And I think that is a vital thing that we need to do. But this is it's a really interesting spread that I was not expecting, honestly. But hey, I like to be surprised as long as it's positive. So I think that was it. New beginnings and birthing of new ideas and new cultures and new societies is never an easy thing. It's sort of like the idea of the diamond, that it's under pressure, okay? But what comes of it is going to be much better than what was there before. And this is not saying that, anything that has happened beforehand was all great. No, that's not at all whatsoever. But the fact that people are standing together, that they are uniting, I think that is really vital to acknowledge that, we're in this together, and we need to be there for each other. Okay, we need to support, all of our people of all colors and nationalities and races and immigrant status. I mean, that's sort of been tossed to the side as well, that I'm constantly worrying about all of those kids in cages. And so anyway, so just let me know if you need any readings. I do have some times tomorrow evening and also on Saturday. And I hope that this gives a little bit of comfort to you, that, while it seems like it's really shitty right now, but we need to keep the course. We need to keep going towards that goal of, unity and supporting each other and equality for everybody. Okay. And we're going to rise from the ashes. We are going to have that really strong new beginning. Okay. And it's going to come, and this is going to come from the feminine divine somehow. So just keep looking for that and keep pushing through that. And hopefully your Friday lunar eclipse full moon is going to be blessed and positive and powerful. And if you have any questions, just feel free to contact me. So have a good evening, and I will see you next time. All right, bye-bye.